Hi, it's Ramona. This is our third block for the easy blocks as you go. If you are an experienced quilter or you've made quilts, these are not the videos for you. But I do have some girls telling me they're following along and they're doing them with me. So I'm making ground. So anyway, the one that we're going to do today, I'm going to call rail fence. I don't know if that's really what it's called, but it makes a rail fence quilt, so I'm going to call it rail fence. And it's just strips of material. And when I was looking at some just had 2 strips, some had 3, some had 4, but I'm going with 3 because my finished block is about a 9.5, and it was easily divisible by 3. So to get going, I had to add another fabric. It's still in the same line. I'm not doing scrappy. I'm not super matchy, but I'm not doing scrappy. So this is in the Calico Cowgirl line. And so I cut a strip off of each fabric 3.5 inches wide. So 3.5, 3.5, 3.5. And so I had, a long strip of fabric when you do that. I should have showed you that. But anyway, and then I cut them at 10, just so I'd have a little wiggle room. So I have my strips of fabric, and then I just put them in the order that I wanted them, and I put the hot pink in the middle because I don't know, I just didn't want, I don't know, I liked it bumped up like this. So 1/4 inch seams, quilting 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch seams. So, sew one to there, and then to there, and then you will end up, they'll all be sewed together, and you will end up with your quilt block. Now, like I told you, I did a 10-inch strip, and these are like 9.5. So all you do is cut them down to size, whatever size you wanted. So right here, I'm going to have to cut off 1/2 inch. So it'll be the same size as my other blocks, or at least closer in size. And so now that we've got 3 blocks so far. We started with our 4-patch, half square triangle, and now the rail fence. You can turn it this way, you can turn it this way. I'm going to turn it this way for right now. When I'm talking rail fence, I'll show you what it is. A quilt pattern where one block goes this way, the next one goes this way, and then the next one goes this way, and then the next one goes that way. It just keeps going like that. So that's a quilt all in itself. So you could make, right now, you could make a quilt out of any one of these blocks. 4-patch, you just do 4-patch, 4-patch, 4-patch. Or you could put a little sashing in between. We'll talk about sashing later, but you don't have to have sashing. Your half square triangle blocks, you could do that. You can play with those. If you like a, let's see. How did I have that turned a while ago? You could do this and make a bigger block. And then just have sets of those with some sashing in between. If you like a chevron look, you can do those. I've got to turn this right. Here we go. You just kind of have to play with them. And that'll keep going. You kind of get that chevron once you get them all pieced together. Just, these are basic blocks, but then from there, you make other things. So, like I said, today's is rail fence. I went with 3. You can do 2 if you're just doing 2 fabrics. You can do 4. Just cut them to where your blocks are almost the same in size to make it easier on you later. So I think that's all for today. We had a class last night, and I had some gals in here revving me up on what I need in my videos and what all we need to talk about. So we'll get there eventually, but probably not today. But they're a fun group. Classes are fun. If you don't know how to sew, or if you just think, oh, I don't know if I can do that or whatever, do not be afraid of a class here. This is the no judgment zone, and everybody's a beginner. Everybody helps everybody. It's okay. And I'm working on a quilt for, I think, the easiest quilt pattern class I've ever done. And all it's going to take is a layer cake, and I have some of my layer cakes up here. You'll come in, you'll pick out a layer cake, and that's where we'll start. And it takes one layer cake, and then if you want a border around it, we'll need a little extra fabric to make a border around it. But you can do that quilt. I've only been working on it a little while, and I'm almost halfway finished with it. And when I say a little while, I mean like 2 or 3 hours, not 2 or 3 days. It's super, super easy. You can sew a straight line, you can do it. So it's coming soon. I just want to get my sample ready for you. So, alrighty, have the sun's out, have a good afternoon, but you know, sew at night, so you need some fabric. Come on down.